Okay, everyone. We're going to do a painting today where I'm going to show you the detail in the end of the painting. I'll show you the very basic blocking in the beginning. We'll skip the middle section and we'll go to the detail because the last video I promised you, we showed you a video that showed you how to block it in. I showed you how to do the middle stages last time, and now I'm going to show you how you take the painting from a stage that most people stop at, give up and say, oh, I can't paint, it's awful, to something a little bit more polished so that it looks a little more professional. Now, I don't mind leaving a painting at that middle stage. I love that plein air look. That's actually my favorite look. But I also know that if you're going to be in a competition or if you really want to challenge yourself into an expert level of detail, you have to develop it a little bit more than just the basic plein air look. So most people would call that a study, but for me it's just perfect. It leaves so much to the imagination, and that's what I like in my painting. By the way, I'm in the process of recovering. I had surgery last week to have a cataract removed from my left eye and a partial corneal transplant. So this eye is not seeing very well. It is, however, seeing colors better than this eye, which still needs surgery. So I have a blurry eye and a blurry eye, one that sees color better and one that is a little clearer than this one. So together, the two of them, I've been struggling to paint for years like this, so I'm kind of used to it. Hopefully one day I'll have two clear eyes with great color in both of them. But you never know what I'm going to come up with today, because who knows what I see. Anyway, I'm happy to have had the surgery and to have the possibility of great sight again in my future. Anyway, here we go with the video. So I've shown you before how I can use these canvases and just hang them. Then I don't have to have so much room taken up every time I want to do a painting. And I can put God knows how many in here. I have tons of them. I have a bunch of them drying over here on the other side of the room. Let's lay that in there. So it's a good way to paint. And right here I have a free canvas. I have it stuck on my little board here. And I'm just going to paint freely right now, like a child. I just really don't care how I do this, because I'm just trying to get a concept in. And I'm going to use a paper towel and a little bit of water. It's really all I want is ideas. I've got blue in the sky up here. I feel like I'm singing that song. I see la la la. I wish I could sing. La la la. La 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 la. La 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 la. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. That was the last song my mother ever sang, and I will never forget it. We were traveling around in Newport Richey trying to find someone who could notarize some paperwork for us. Going on the back roads, looking at some of the beautiful countryside that Newport Richey has, because there's a lot of open land there. And she just started singing in her husky voice, because she wasn't that well back then, so her voice was kind of husky. I just never forgot it. It just was precious to me. A precious memory. Some greens where I see the darker things. dark colors there, some darker things over here. This is just the first layer. Just get it in. There's so many cool things. These trees are doing the craziest things. And I think you can see how we just have the sort of the concept of the woods. The light's going back here, coming here. There's some here and here. A little light in the corner here. So that you have a concept of what it's going to look like. And here it is, just a little bit more developed, but again, it's in the very basic stages. And now I'll show you how I put some detail in, as I promised in my last video. It helps to compare the two together, the painting and the photo, just to see if you have some semblance of the same design. It doesn't have to be exact. In fact, I messed with this photo a little bit and added some of that blue water in because it was mostly green, swampy stuff on top of the water right now. And I wanted to see a little bit more of the reflection of the blue. Every painting is your own creation. Part of what you see, part of what you know is there, part of what you want in your painting. So guys, I'm just an everyday housewife who's also a painter. And if I could, I would shut that door so you didn't hear my bird screaming for me, because she can't stand it when I'm not in the same room with her. Even though she's in a cage with her sister and 3 other birds are right beside her. But at any rate, I think she thinks she's human. I would shut that door, but I'm also cooking some buckwheat upstairs, and I can't forget about that and let it burn, so I need to listen for the timer. So, you know, this is real life here. So, ignore Gabby. She's a brat. Here we go. I'm using something that I really love. I've tried it twice, and it's going to be part of my regular arsenal. It's solvent-free gel, so it has no smell whatsoever. It's made by Gamblin, and I use it with my water mixable paints. It does not ruin the water solubility whatsoever, but it gives me a medium to work with aside from a little water, or the medium that Cobra and Winsor Newton give me to use with their paints, but I don't necessarily like the liquid medium that much. So this is a nice gel and it works great. Okay, the buckwheat's done and the door is closed, so you'll probably just hear her in the background now. So, let's see what we have here. What do I think my painting needs? Well, it needs more of the little trees in the background, for sure, and so many more in the water here. And it's a combination of twigs sticking up out of the water, as well as reflections underneath them. In the real photo, we have several trees here, making kind of a collection of darkness here. And if you can group things together, darks and lights, a little bit whenever possible, you will increase your, I don't know, realism, I guess, is what I'm looking for, because the painting sometimes ends up looking like discombobulated. I mean, my God, there's leaves and plants and flowers and stuff everywhere in this painting. But if I don't try to separate a little bit of the dark from the light, or some yellow from some green, or some dark green from some light green, you will feel like you're looking at a menagerie. And that is why, if you group a few things together, you'll be happier. And make these different colors. You know, as far as like darks, you want some brown in there. You want some blue in there. You want some purple in there. It doesn't all have to be the exact same tone. Trees cross over each other. Here I'm using a little bit of that gamblin I told you about. There are so many branches, it's not even funny. You can't put too many in here. But I don't want it to be the way it is when some people think they have to put every single leaf they see. How do I put that? How do I do it while I'm thinking? That's even a bigger problem. You do not have to replicate every leaf or every branch, but you just have to replicate lots of branches and lots of leaves, that's all. And you can do that in some cases by simply making a collection of darkness or a collection of lightness, and we will understand. If you give us a little bit of definition in a few of the leaves up front, the closer things to see, we will understand the rest of these are leaves. Because unless you have super bionic vision or you're Superman himself, you cannot tell me which leaf is in this tree up here. Therefore, there's no need for you to put 1,000 little dots in here. Just make it a dark area, a lighter area, a medium area. But up close, if you want to come in here and hit this with a few actual little definable, discernible leaves, that's fine. So I'm brokenhearted because twice now, while recording, the recording just shut itself off. I do not know why. And I wanted to show you all these little details that I did with the palette knife on top of everything to give some relief, to actually make it look like they're on top of the trees, crossing over them, to give that illusion of depth. And there's some lavender in the background so that we can see far back where we wouldn't quite pick up so much yellow and green. You may notice that the water, where the algae and the yellow, whatever that is, sits on top of it, that is thicker, and that is one of the last things that I put in, as well as these close-up leaves that are like a lime green. They are thicker, as are those highlights on the trees. So those are the thickest things in the painting. They stand out the most, they are the closest, and they are on top of the water or on top of the bark of the tree. And that's done with palette knife. Anyway, thanks for joining me, everyone. Try some painting, because remember, you can paint too.